Go ahead and call the meeting to order. It's now 4:32, July 31st, 4:30 p.m. This will be a special meeting. Jen, if I can have you call roll.
Magistrate Humphrey.
Present.
Magistrate Coldiron.
Present.
Magistrate Riley.
Present.
Judge Chuck Gills.
Present. Moving down to item 3, we have approval of the regular meeting minutes for July 18th, 2023.
Having read the regular meeting minutes of July 18th, 2023, I'm going to make a motion to approve as written.
I second.
Have a motion made by Magistrate Humphrey, second by Magistrate Coldiron. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Appears all in favor, motion carries. Moving down to fiscal matters, we have on the agenda a motion to approve the second reading on ordinance number 0008-2023-0265 for the reapportionment of the magistrate lines.
I'm going to make a motion to approve the second reading on ordinance number 0008-2023-0265 for the reapportionment of the magistral lines.
I will second.
I have a motion made by Magistrate Humphrey, a second by Magistrate Riley. Before I have Jenna take roll, is there any comments, concerns before we move on?
No, just the acknowledgement of the work that was put forth to make this as streamlined and smooth as possible. Just wanted to acknowledge those that played a role in that.
Yeah, and I want to thank Tabitha and for heading up the committee to put the time and effort in going over the maps to have that done. And also the Jeff from the North Kentucky Ad District for his input and the drafting of the maps for us. Jen, if you could call roll.
Magistrate Humphrey.
Yes.
Magistrate Coldiron.
Yes.
Magistrate Riley.
Yes.
Judge Chuck Gills.
Yes. Motion carries, and that'll be posted in the Grant County News. Moving down to item B, we have a motion to approve the second reading on ordinance number 0009-2023-0266. It's regarding the FAR dues amendment.
I make a motion to approve the second reading this afternoon on ordinance number 0009-2023-0266 regarding the fire dues amendment.
I'll second.
I have a motion made by Magistrate Riley, a second by Magistrate Humphrey. Before we call roll, is any comments on the passing of this ordinance?
Judge Dills, did you just want to make a general comment for the record on, this is the first time that this ordinance has been modified in any way since it was originally adopted from a finance
Yes, and a little bit of background. This ordinance is 11 years old. It was the ordinance established back then for the fire dues to support our fire departments responding in the unincorporated areas. And it was set back then at $25 an hour, or I'm sorry, $25 a year on your property tax bill. And over the past 11 years, it was never revisited, even with the cost of doing business is continuing to go up with inflation. And that we had, when I say we, the magistrates had met with the fire departments in their magisterial districts, discussed the concerns and the revenue after I had personally been approached by fire departments on that the $25 is just not cutting it. And, for example, and I'll use Dry Ridge as one of our largest fire districts, they were bringing in approximately $70,000 a year to the unincorporated area. And if everyone knows, $70,000 with benefits won't even pay for one salary. $70,000 is about 1/7 minimum of the cost of a fire truck. So it need to be revisited. And thanks to the magistrates for taking the time, meeting, as the ordinance said, with the fire departments and trying to look at a clearer picture of what this cost would need to be. And obviously, we're not setting it where it probably should be. We are only looking at trying to fix, something over the past 11 years. And it came out to be an average of about $8 a month which is $96 a year, that this charge would be. And if you think about it, I know that there's going to be concerns when they look at it. You know, this is going to be from $25 to $96 11 years later. But $96 for the assurance that they have proper equipment to respond to your fire. And I know, because I sat through some of these debates 11 years ago over this, I live way out in the county. By the time the fire department gets there, my house will be burnt down. The problem is the fire department doesn't just respond to fires. When the tractor turns over on someone, that's the fire department who responds with life-saving equipment to get the tractor off of a person. So, you know, these are needed funds to operate at a needed service that no longer can operate on shoestrings. So I think and commend the fiscal court in really taking a deep dive into this and looking at ways that we can try to fix this the best we can at the time. So anybody else have any other comments to add to that?
Just to, on the ordinance, the maximum of 3 parcels did remain the same, per individual.
Yes, the only language we changed in the current ordinances was the increase in the cost per tax bill.
And Judge, I just want, go.
Well, there's actually 3 changes,
Doesn't-
right? Yes.
Yeah.
So
That's what I was
there's
gonna-
one on the fees. There's a second one that deals with the passage of the ordinance and when that's going to be done and how that's to be done, with the magistrates collecting information, as opposed to now the new one's going to be that they're going to give the information to the executive's office by May 1st or May 30th. I apologize. And then there's a third one which deals with the change of how we were going to establish or collect that information in an annual report, and there was actually additional reports, or I guess information, that the magistrates are going to receive in order to make a more wise and collected. They did this in the last time, but now we're going to do it formally within the ordinance.
Yeah, and
That's
just to
exactly
point
what I was
out and
gonna-
follow up what Stephen's saying, that original ordinance, like I said, it was 11 years ago and it sufficed for then. But yes, if you noticed, it required each magistrate to reach out to the fire department, and this is streamlined it, that instead of relying on each magistrate to go to the fire departments then will come to my office, which will be distributed out to the fiscal court. So
Yeah. And that was the part I was happy to.
it was very
strengthen.
confusing, the other ordinance. And then as Stephen also pointed out, we amended this ordinance a few months ago to amend the deadline dates for us to review this. They were too short, not giving us an opportunity during budget times to really look at these numbers.
Yep, and I think it will better position us to stay in touch with their needs, that on an annual basis, so we can pay attention to the funding mechanism of the service.
Yeah, and I also want to make a recommendation, too, that we do send a copy to each fire department, so they know what is in the ordinance and what they need to abide by.
Yeah, we will be notifying, like I said, a copy to all the fire departments of that change, along with the sheriff, the county clerk, and also PVA. David, did you?
I just wanted to mention, before they had that ordinance 11 years ago, we were paying $50 a year, and I think that was written in the fire department.
It was,
I could imagine why they dropped it to 25.
yeah.
They weren't the only, yeah, they weren't
Well,
the only
and
department
just,
that ended up collecting
just
less.
for sort of a little bit of back history, 2 of the fire departments in the county we've been subsidizing, because before the $25 was implemented, it was based on fire dues only. So that's the way the fire departments, the rural fire departments were funded. So Corinth and Jonesville wasn't even generating enough with the $25 as they were with their fire dues.
That they am-
So the county's been subsidizing at a tune about $25,000 a year to the fire department.
But those two, if my memory serves me right, were volunteer, where Dry Ridge is manned, and it's a different animal.
Correct.
Ridge versus, plus the ambulance service Dry Ridge has versus the other two.
And Williamstown now has full-time firemen also. Well,
Part-
they're full-time at a part-time
and then part-time,
yes.
like stipend pay.
pay. So,
And it's a real benefit for Williamstown and Dry Ridge being municipalities that they are, because it helps with insurance within the cities on, the industrial side. It helps with the insurance fees there to keep them lower.
Okay. Nothing else to add. Jenna, I'll have you call roll.
Magistrate Humphrey,
Yes.
Magistrate Coldiron,
Yes.
Magistrate Riley,
Yes.
Judge Chuck Dills.
Yes. Appears all in favor, motion carries. That ordinance now passed, and it will be posted in the Grant County News by statute, along with, we'll mail out to the fire departments, and as I added, the sheriff's office for the collection, also the county clerk and the PVA's office.
Will they be collecting that this year?
Yes,
Yes.
it will be. It will go on the tax bill for this year. Okay, item C, and I apologize, that was an add-on this morning. I discovered, as we always every now and then realize that we failed to maybe do something. As you know, we have our new jailer with us, Troy Hagedorn. Question got brought up about reimbursing for their food allotments when they've gone to training. And we passed our last standing order. If you all remember, it included the sheriff's office deputies when they're gone to training. We're able to cut a check out to them in advance to pay for their food, so we don't have to keep track of the receipts. I explained to Jailer Hagedorn that that's what he needs to do, only to find out when I talked to Peggy that standing order was specifically to the sheriff's deputies on their line item. So since Troy came in, so we're on the 11th hour, the budget was already worked up. He didn't have the opportunity and the pleasure to be involved in that input. It's not on there. So I'm asking for a motion to approve the standing order with the addition of jail staff training line item to be added to that. So once that's approved, Peggy will send that on to the Department of Local Government for their blessings, and then we can proceed on for them to operate just as the sheriff's office operates on their training.
I make a motion to approve the standing order with the addition of jail staff training line item onto the 2023-2024 budget.
I will second.
Have a motion made by Magistrate Codorn, a second by Magistrate Riley. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Appears all in favor, motion carries. Doesn't appear we have any old business or new business to report on. Reports. I don't have anything at this time to report on judges training or on judges other than they finished several roads, and I can leave that to the magistrates on to add on it. Road department is out mowing right-of-ways, and it seems like they just got done not long ago, and they're back circling around doing it again. Move on down to Magistrate Humphrey. Anything to add?
No, sir.
Magistrate Codorn?
I don't have anything, thank you.
Magistrate Riley?
Coming from our road department meeting, to chime in on your comment, Mr. Tatum did ask us to share that this year we've had the opportunity to resurface 9 roads, in which more than half of those 9 roads have not been surfaced in the last 32 years, and the other portion of those roads may have been resurfaced once in 32 years. And so he just wanted to also thank the court in getting many of those roads resurfaced for the first time in 3 decades. Turner Road Bridge is likely to be completed Monday or Tuesday of next week. So he just said, for us to acknowledge that will be open for those roads.
And they're moving quickly on it. I've been down several times, and very impressed with Ron English's bridges.
It's out there.
It's
outstanding.
probably one of the best built bridges I've seen.
A lot of people complimenting also that they just can't get over what has happened on the southern end as far as the roads and the bridges being replaced, that they're so grateful that this is happening.
Yes.
Well, another thing
Well,
too, the use of, the bridges that we're putting in now, will hopefully last a whole lot longer and won't be as a problem in the flooding areas as we've had in the
especially Arnold's Creek obviously was one.
Oh,
But the one on Turner, the man hours, if you calculated, that was spent by our road department going down and cleaning the debris
Sure.
on those low water crossings.
Sure.
And then not only the man hours spent, the inconvenience to the citizens that live out there. And then the real concern is emergency vehicles
Sure.
getting across.
Well, in the school.
You know, emergency fire truck ambulance starts down to Arnold's Creek, and when they get to that end and that bridge is blocked, they've got a long distance to come to the other end of it. So,
Well, another thing that I think that we fail to recognize is the logistics of home deliveries now.
yes.
In your FedEx and your UP, I mean,
I
there's,
had some feedback on that because folks weren't reading signs
Yeah.
with the most recent closure, or maybe they got stolen.
Okay, then. Well, thank you. We don't have all of our reports listed since we're doing a special meeting, but moving down to citizens address, if I can have Troy Hagedorn, our new jailer, if you want to just update the court on, I want to give you a month to
we've been
get
waiting.
acclimated. I'll turn your mic on. if you'll-
Is that on? How about now?
Yes.
Okay. Had some success moving forward. You know, it's still a snail's pace a little bit. I'm behind the 8 ball, learning curve going on from my aspect. A great deal of information to process. So I'm still relying heavily on the admin team for a lot of direction on some things. But just coming in from an outsider coming into corrections, we are moving forward, and I've been blessed to have the staff buy into the direction I want to see this go. That's huge. It's invaluable, to be quite frank with you. But they seem to be eager, energetic, like sponges, and like the direction we're going. You know, I bring something different than some of the others, and they seem to be buying into it. We had some success on recruitment. Had an abundance of applicants apply. Don't know that that's happened in a while. And in addition to the abundance of applicants, they were pretty qualified. I mean, they were all quality, quite a few quality applicants. So in a day and age where we all know workforce in general is struggling to get applicants, we were successful. We have went through a hiring process and hired 4 initially. Of those 4, we have kept 3 of them, and I'll take those odds. And the 3 that's remained have done a stellar job. Look to turn them loose on their own out of a FTO program that I've rolled out. It's a 4-phase program, and they are at the end of the 4th phase, so they'll be turned loose on their own. I've got a group of 5 that start August 14th, and again, stellar applicants. They did a great job in the interview process, and I was really, really impressed with the group. So I'm excited moving forward. The group of 5 will complete the 4 phases of the FTO program. It's a new program, and the staff over there is excited to be a part of it, and so real excited. One thing is retention. We never know what we're getting. We've had success so far. May change tomorrow. We'll have to see, and you never know. So I'm hoping to keep riding this wave. I can tell you from a standpoint, I keep kind of getting asked questions on when are we going to open some of the doors and get some people in. We've already started, but understand this. I'll give you an example. I think Captain Hale just put in for 60. Of those 60, we have a stringent vetting process, and it's because of some of the obvious reasons. They'll send you whoever they've got,
Yep.
not necessarily who we need. We're not ready for that. So it's a stringent vetting process, and I'm, again, relying on the admin team who've been through that several times, because if we just open the doors, that's going to drain our staff, because they're going to be making runs to hospitals. They're going to be making runs with these folks that are coming in, and that's not helping our cause. It's not. We've had some success in bringing some in, only to have them graduate the process and be moved on. So we're trying to figure that out. This group of 5, we can keep them. You know, I'm going to look at some restructuring and hopefully run another group if numbers work out like I think they will, which will help us even more to be able to address the unforeseen. You know, we're going to have to start bringing some of these folks in, even with some of the problems
Right.
that they may have. But I want to make sure we're able to deal with those problems, because it'll bury us if we can't. It'll vary the operation, and we want to make sure we're ready for that. I want to make sure everyone's trained properly and ready to handle that stuff. So I'm satisfied with we are moving forward. And if you know me well enough to know that I find the bad in a lot of things, don't find the good in a lot of things sometimes. But I'm standing before you telling you we're moving in the right direction. So that ought to tell you something, because that's not like me. The good may always exist, but I always know that that door could slam. But I'm pleased with the direction we're going. So
I would like to thank you for your positive attitude and the positive direction that you are putting everything into, and you're doing a great job for somebody coming in off the street, like you just said. But your background in law enforcement helps greatly. But you've got a good staff over there. You've said that many times. You got a good staff over there, and I think the staff is seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. It's just going to take us a while to get there, but we're not giving up.
yeah, I can't emphasize it enough. They have absolutely bought in. They're all in. They are. And you know, one thing I did was I met with everyone. I met with command staff. I met with supervisors. I met with all staff and laid out expectations. Sometimes I can't be the easiest person to work for. My expectations of people are very high, but they're even higher of myself. And I told them that. So they still bought in. They stayed.
That's a great thing.
Good, yes.
But it needed to be said, you know, that way everyone knows,
Same
you
page.
know, this is what we're here to do, and we will do it. And we'll be as professional as possible in the process. And they've bought in. I can't say it enough. They have worked hard, continue to work hard. We're still struggling covering with, you know, call-offs occasionally, and it's just, that's part of business. It's part of business. And we're still doing 12s. But again, when we get to the point, we'll revisit all that stuff. But it's getting to that point. So, but we're headed there. That's the main thing. We're headed.
When I know Troy's been working on policy procedure, he's been going through it,
My eyes are
spending a lot of time on it. And what I want to commend him for is the training that you're providing to the deputies.
Absolutely.
They need to be trained. In the world we live in today, you can't expect someone to be thrown in that position without training. So I want to commend you for your efforts. And I mean, I've worked with you my whole career, and I know how you are with training, and it pays off. When you're trained well, you'll operate well.
Absolutely.
So you're doing a great job on the training end of it.
Thank you.
Thank you for your leadership.
Yeah.
Thank you for stepping into this challenge and carrying it on your shoulders with just the sense of knowledge that you have with leading folks and getting them, like Judge said, trained and showing folks that they're cared for because they are those employees that work there. I know at times they think they're not valued, but they absolutely are. And so thank you for what you're doing and what you're taking on.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right.
Anything else? Troy, thank you.
Look forward to seeing you at all the other meetings.
So 8 hires, essentially, 3 earlier and then 5 in this.
8 total hires. 8 total hires. 3, yes.
Good.
Okay. Anyone else? David, anything? Okay. Okay, I'm going to go over, there's a lengthy change of meetings.
Yeah, I saw that. I said, whoa.
Everybody can follow along.
Okay.
Obviously, our meeting was tomorrow, but we changed it for today. So with that being said, because of training and the holiday, I found out, Stephen asked me that it wasn't on the 4th. It's actually because the Monday is the 4th, which is the day we get all the claims prepared for the meeting. And anytime we have a meeting on the first couple of days of the month, we don't have claims in to pay. So that's another reason. So our next meeting is going to be Tuesday, August 8th at 4:30 p.m., and it's going to be on Zoom, which would have been our August 1st meeting. So our August 15th meeting is going to be August 22nd, 2023, and it's going to be by Zoom. And then our regular court meeting for September 5th is going to be rescheduled to September 6th, and it'll be here in the courtroom.
So
So I'm hoping between the holidays, training, and Peggy on vacation on August 15th, so we would have no way to print the checks out with her not here. That would be a wasted meeting.
So we do 8, 15,
Yeah, so 8, 22, and then September 6th would be our next 3 meetings. Okay, with that being said, need a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I second.
Motion made by Magistrate Riley, a second by Magistrate Codarn. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
It appears all in favor. We're now adjourned. Thank you all.